The way to be ready is to live your life in such a way that you are pursuing God's will, pursuing God's agenda, and above all, living a life that's pleasing to Him. You don't prepare on the day of the final exam. You prepare day by day. The same thing with you, the same thing with me. We need to live our life as though this is going to be the last day of my life. Keep on obeying Him for the long term, and you will not regret. And most important, you ask yourself, are you pursuing God's kingdom? Or are you pursuing your own kingdom? Are you always thinking of what God wants you to do versus what you want to do?
Okay. Good day, Mr. Max. How are you?
I'm alright, thinking yourself, sir.
Very, very good. Welcome to my End Times show.
Yes, sir.
I am looking at the End Times, and I have been very, very interested in what you do with your company, in your construction business. You have been dealing a lot with a lot of things. So I would like to ask you if you can explain to me, in your construction experience, what is the most important thing?
Yes, in the construction field, the most important thing is the foundation. Because every building that we see in our world, and you can also understand that a building are very important structure of our lifestyle, of our daily lifestyle. We need building for hospitals, we need building for restaurant, we need building for gym, we need building for houses, we need building for everything that you can imagine, for bridges, for everything that you can imagine. And all those structures, they sit on what we call the foundation.
Wow.
So the foundation is the most important part of building.
Wow. Okay, so very, very interesting. Because one of the things that I'm looking at in my series is the a picture that Jesus spoke about. Two people were building houses, but one of them built on a shady soil, shady ground, and the other one built on the rock. And he says that the outcome was different, just based on the foundation. Is that the reason why perhaps you put so much emphasis on the foundation?
Exactly. I believe as engineers, architects, we refer to that scripture because what we might understand is these two houses that we're talking about right now, they were all exposed to the same problem that came across it. So they say that a storm came and it hit the two of them at the same time. So that's why we understand that the foundation is what one has to build, one has to understand, and what needs to be done properly to that foundation. Because if we're thinking of doing a building that is going to last long, and we're thinking of a building that will be safe for the occupant, for people, person, and animals, and it's going to be the foundation. What are we trying to invest first? How much time are we trying to invest in the foundation? Well, let's think about buildings structure that are oldest in the world. Building like the cathedrals that we know the Castle of Good Hope in Cape Town, that is also one of the oldest buildings, and we know also the Baba Passage Brave, one of the oldest buildings, and there are many buildings that are still standing today and are good references today simply because the foundation has been good.
Wow.
And let's try to understand this. The reality of building being exposed to storms, earthquakes, anything that you can imagine, shifting of the ground breathing, we call the ground breathing, where it's a small shaking, tsunamis, and all those stuff, big rains and stuff, they are real.
Wow.
And one is to think my house, my building, my structure will be exposed to this. And this is not only hitting the walls or whatever, it's also affecting the foundation.
That's right. That's right. So I see you've got a lot of things here. You've got the measuring things, and you've got the straighteners, so when you are considering a foundation for a particular building, Is it the depth of the foundation that is important, or is it the width, or what determines what foundation you are going to construct for a particular building?
Yes, what's determined a particular foundation or a particular building is what do we have in mind? What are we trying to achieve? Let's say I want to build a normal house, no storage on top, no storage on top. I'm just going to build something simple. It's not going to require me to dig deep to go and build something fancy.
Right, right.
So let's say I want to build something that will carry 30 storage of floors,
Right.
and it will require me to dig deeper and to study more my ground, to be aware of what ground I'm dealing with, the deepness, the thickness, and all those things. That's why we use proper tools.
Right.
We got tape measures, we got levels, we got dumping tool as well. We got many more that we can name.
Right, right. It really fascinates me when Jesus put emphasis on the foundation, and he continues to give us a lot of pictures of what is going to happen in the end. Like you spoke about the storms, and I like it when you speak about the castle of the castle of Good Hope, one of the oldest buildings in South Africa, and it's still standing in the middle of a lot of other buildings that were destroyed by the storms. So now I'm looking at this now, that we are living in the end times, and we've got this pandemic that have taken a lot of people's faith away from them, and the coming of Jesus has not even happened yet. So I am really thinking that this business of foundation, it is going to be very crucial, like it is with the buildings, that
Yes.
when the storms are going to shake, when the tsunamis are going to come, when the floods come, when all these things are going to be coming against these buildings, buildings in my situation is the believers
Yes.
and the people in general, that it is the foundation that is actually going to mean a lot.
That's right. That's right.
And I really find a lot of understanding when you explain to me why Jesus actually put a lot of emphasis on foundation, because it is very tempting to actually cut corners when you build a foundation. What kind of mistakes do builders make when they are building foundations?
They're trying to most of them they're trying to avoid the cost, and they're trying to cover what is going to happen next, knowing that this is going to be a trouble in the next future. I've seen many buildings with a crack, and they will call a plaster guy, will come and patch it, will come and glue it, and still that crack will come out again. Simply because when you trace very well, that crack starts from the foundation.
Wow.
We can try to paint a house or a building. We can try to cover it up with nice structure, nice aluminum structure and all that. But still, if the foundation was not good, which many engineers are now, based on the old experience of building falling down and crates and the people losing their life because of building that were not built on the right foundation. Now we are trying to invest much more. People are learning, architects, engineers, we are spending much time trying to understand why, and you can even see now we're trying to build even on waters.
Right.
And simply because we try to see what can stand underground there to keep our structure,
Very interesting.
foundation.
You know, talking about that, Max, the mistake is that they cut corners and they compromise on the foundation. I saw a clip during the week in America where this flat, I mean, it's a big flat,
Yes.
and it just,
Is it in Miami?
it's the one in Miami.
Yes.
Miami, it just like collapsed. I think there was a fault at the bottom with the water and so forth. But the way it fell, man, it's like there was nothing in the bottom.
I'm telling you.
Are you aware of that? And is that something that you can also give an example about?
It's one of those as well. I'm also thinking about that. the people that were trying to build the structures, I know somehow some of them they knew that this might be affecting, and okay, just a small thing, it won't be big until we saw the building collapsing. So a simple drop of water can affect even a big foundation that we built so much.
Wow.
A simple. That's why we're saying we don't neglect anything when it's come to our foundation.
Wow.
Foundation, you see a link of the water in the ground, anything, we take note of that, we study deep if it's going to affect this building in a long run. It's not going to affect it now, but in a long run.
Wow.
Exactly,
Wow.
yeah.
So really, really going back to Jesus' words, foundation, foundation. It's not necessarily now in the short term. It's in the long run.
In the long run.
In the long run.
In the long run, exactly, yeah.
And what really inspires me about this end times teaching that I'm doing in our church is that you know it is more the long term, because faith, life is not a sprint. You don't get saved today and then you go to heaven tomorrow.
Yeah.
It has a very, very long stretch.
That's
Very,
right.
very long stretch. And if we're not careful and we compromise on the foundation, like you said,
Yes.
it can have serious consequences for our faith in the future. So I'm thinking in this way. When you begin to talk about the cost
Yes.
of building a foundation, and I'm also putting it in the spiritual sense,
Yes.
I see a lot of believers cutting a lot of corners, like when it comes to praying. They don't really pray as they should because they don't really see the long-term effects
That's
of
right.
this business. Reading the Bible is
Yes.
something that they only do when maybe they come to church or on a very, very on a very long interval basis.
Yes.
Nothing really pushing them. They don't really see the long-term effects, and so it is very, very crucial because that building, they actually call it condo in America.
Yes.
When it collapsed, it's like somebody actually bombed it. It looked like somebody bombed it the way
Yes.
it collapsed. And so I really appreciate. I really appreciate. I don't know if there's anything that you would like to give away
Yes.
in terms of your foundation.
Yes, just as a construction guy in India qualified, they will just encourage more people that are planning to build big and invest much more in your foundation. It's not about how your building outside is going to look. Let's understand each other that the foundation is underground. Nobody sees it.
Right.
It's underground.
Right.
And not knowing that this is the most important thing that is keeping the whole structure that everybody going to look and enjoy and be safe in it. So the foundation is a very good thing that one can look at it and invest much more. Nobody will go down and see what you use, what material you use. Take your time, it's costly and it's hard work and all that, but it's worth it.
Right.
That's all I can say.
Well, we are coming to the end of this episode, and I would like to take my time to really thank you very, very much for coming to shed some light with us from the construction point of view, because what really got my attention and what actually led me to call you was because when Jesus was talking,
Yes.
and he spoke about the foundation and how it is going to impact people's building, which is their faith.
Yes.
I thought, man, I'm not a construction guy myself, but I thought, what, let me get a construction expert, somebody that knows this business and is able to actually explain to me. And now, based on that, I actually understand. Even when you're talking about somebody sees a crack and they just put a plaster on it and just paint over it, and after 2 weeks,
Yes.
or after a month, the crack, it still shows up, and it's like it comes even more aggressive.
That's right.
Because you're
That's right.
trying to solve a problem at the wrong place,
That's right.
when the problem is actually at the foundation. And so I'm looking at believers as well. What this pandemic has done is that it has really shaken most buildings, which is many people's faith.
That's right.
And we are seeing the foundation, the importance of foundation, that those that have not compromised on their foundations,
Yes,
they're actually still standing.
that's right.
Even,
Exactly.
even though it is very, very tough, but they're actually standing. And so the message that we can depart with is that, you know what, let us not compromise on our foundation.
That's right.
Foundation, it is the beginning and it is the end of every building. And spiritually speaking, the foundation remains the beginning and the end of our faith.
That's right.
So thank you very much. Until the next episode, tune in. Thank you.